evening and welcome to the Manteno Village Board meeting for Monday, July 15th, 2019. Let's call the meeting to order, and if we could all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Boyce.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Dole. Here. Crockett.
Here.
Geske.
Here.
Phillips.
Here.
We have a quorum. Tonight, as always, we begin with the approval of the minutes. We have our regular meeting minutes from our July 1st, 2019 board meeting. The minutes has been included in everyone's packet, and hopefully everyone has had the opportunity to review them. Are there any changes, additions, corrections, deletions? Seeing none, I would accept the motion to waive the reading of the minutes and approve them as presented by the clerk.
I'll make that.
Motion by Boyce,
I'll second.
second by Dole. Roll call.
Boyce.
Yes.
Dole. Yes. Martin.
Yes.
Crockett.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
Geske.
Yes.
Phillips.
Yes.
Motion carried. Public participation, has anyone signed up to address the board?
No one this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Village President's report, just a couple of things tonight. At the last meeting we had just experienced the heavy windstorm, and we had a lot of trees, branches, down throughout the whole village. Public Works had been working at the time trying to clear the damage that was done, and we also went out and hired some other help because we wanted to try to get it done in as timely fashion as possible. Jim, you want to give a little update as to what the status of it is now, or where we stand? Are we back to normal, or are we close to back to normal, or what's going on?
Yeah, we're as close as normal as we can get. We're back on the south route. I know there's a few spots we missed on the north side in between it all, but we're on the south route. We're over on the east side. We'll be getting all the mobile home parks, and yeah, we had 2 weeks straight, 5 crews, including a truck we hired from Homer Tree Care with a grapple truck loading up. So we try to get as much as we possibly can those 2 weeks in. And I think there's still some people I've seen some trees in their backyard, so I know there's still more to come. But yeah, I know there's some damage to roofs and siding and whatnot. So.
Well, I know that also people have seen taking the opportunity to do some of their tree trimming at this time too, and putting the branches out in the front. I mean, you can kind of tell how old and new some of them are just by how dried out they are. So you're back to the regular south route this week and the north route next week.
Correct.
We hired a company to come in and help us out, and moved a lot of that stuff out that's going to be shipped later on at a later date.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the opportunity also to have somebody else come in. Also, Bradley, we had their truck here for a period of time. How long was that?
2 weeks we had their truck and chipper.
Okay.
We rented a machine with a gravel bucket. We had our backhoe out with it's got a clamshell bucket, and then Homer Tree Care as well we hired.
If we could, Chris, make some effort to send a letter or give Bradley recognition that thank them for letting us use their equipment. I know they had trees and stuff down too, but they evidently had some other mechanism to pick them up, so we certainly appreciate it. I know we have lent some equipment to other communities in their time of, when they've had some storms, and now that we had to do it, it certainly comes in handy to have that other equipment available. The only other item, I wanted the chief to comment a little bit. We had an unfortunate bike accident that took place in the last couple days over on Section Line and Division, where a Manteno youth had gotten hurt, and not reflecting on any problems that came about because of this accident, but just something that I've noticed over the course of the last several months is the bikes on the street, and it gives sometimes the indication is that none of the rules or laws, traffic laws, apply to the bikes, because I don't see anybody stopping at stop signs. I see them riding in whatever lane they choose to ride in and going pretty much wherever they want to go. Chief, can you comment a little bit about what the rules of the road are for bike safety and for people that are riding bikes through the community?
Sure, I think that's common. I think people think bicycles aren't vehicles on the roadway, and it's actually just the opposite. All the rules of the road apply to a bicycle just the same way they do to the car. And actually, the other way around, the bicycle has all the rights of a car as well, but they also have the same responsibilities. So if you're riding a bike on the road, you should travel in the right lane, the same way cars are traveling. If you come up to a stop sign, you're required to stop. If you come up behind a bus that's stopped with their arm out, you're required to stop for that. So if you just keep in mind, drive it the same way you drive your car, you'll be okay. You should actually signal when you're going to turn. But you got to be obviously aware that people don't see as well. Now, bicycles obviously can drive on sidewalks as well, as long as they're not motorized. But if you're riding on the road, you're responsible to drive them just like a car.
And I think it's important to remind people that because, I see as many adults as I do children that go through stop signs without even any indication that they think that there's any necessity to stop. I know there's people all throughout the community, that just, assume, I guess, that, the rules don't apply if you're on a bike, but they do. And we want to make sure that we don't have, any more unfortunate incidents. In this case, it was strictly an accident. I think it didn't happen at an intersection. It's just one of those things. But I think if people, pay attention to the rules of the road while they're on their bikes and teach their kids the same thing, that they've got to, be aware that, rules do apply. It's not a free-for-all just because you're on a pedal bicycle. The only thing I have, village administrator's report, Mr. Barak. You have anything tonight?
I have nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Committee reports, public works and utilities, Mr. Boyce.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have one item. Under motion award of bids for the First Street parking lot improvements to Tenco Excavating, Bourbonnais, Illinois, for $278,063.25. The bids were open today at the Village Hall. We had 3 bidders. Tenco won it at $278,063.25. The second closest was Kankakee Valley Construction at $288,517, and Reuben E. Smith came in at $306,344. Jeff, can you give us a little rundown of when they'll start and the whole game plan of the operation?
Sure. So the improvements are to the parking lot across the street from the pub, and then also a little bit at the alley entrance there where there's the taller curb to enter the alley. And along with the parking lot improvements, there's going to be some sidewalk and lighting improvements as well, all directly adjacent to that parking lot there where the apartment building used to be. That's torn down now. It'll be actually expanded into that area as well. And then the second part of the project is a little bit further east on the north side of First Street, east of the alley. There's going to be some sidewalk removal and replacement, some tree removal, and then also some lights, lighting that's proposed in that area as well. The completion date for the project is September 24th, and I'd imagine within the next few weeks here the contractor will get going. We have to get the contract books executed and make sure all the paperwork and everything else is in order.
So when it's completed, that parking lot's going to be expanded. We're going to have, a number of more parking spaces, and the entrance is going to be in a different location too. You want to talk a little bit about how we're reconfiguring that?
Yep, sure. So the entrance will change from, right now there's an entrance on First Street, and that's going to be eliminated, and there'll be additional parking along the north side of the parking lot there, and the entrance, new entrance will be constructed on the east side of the parking lot, right at the alley. So there will be an existing entrance on the west side that you could come in off of Walnut, and then you would proceed through to the east side to the alley, where the new entrance will be, and then you could exit on the First Street then via the alley.
And we're going to be picking up a few extra spaces on the street, and then a number of them also in the actual parking lot.
Correct, and there's also going to be some golf cart parking spaces in there as well.
Yeah, we're moving some of those trees back off of the, right along the roadway or along the curb, because some of the problem that we had there is the trees, once they get a few years in them and they get the roots going, they pop up the concrete and the sidewalk. So we're moving them back a little bit, And where, in 2 or 3 spots where we place them in the parking lot, then there'll be some spots for golf cart parking. Rather than wasting a spot, we're gonna use it for golf cart parking in 2 or 3 of the locations. Yep.
That's, the ending date where you want to have that finished is 2 days before Oktoberfest starts. We know that, right?
Correct.
Okay, just so,
That was the goal, to try to get it done.
yeah, so we know that.
Yeah.
But also is, do we ever get a price to move all that existing landscaping south? The whole berm, we need to get, you know what I mean, so, because that whole berm, that's the blocking of that apartment complex has gotta go 100 feet south at the end of this whole thing.
Right.
There is included in the project is extending the berm to the east towards the alley on the south side of the First Street parking lot.
Moving what we've got, right?
No, I don't think we're moving the arborvitae that's there now.
Right, we're extending it.
We're extending it from farther east to the parking lot, but I don't know that there's any room to move it to the south.
No, the existing berm with all the plants and the stone,
No,
I know, but once, I'm talking about the apartment building, though.
no,
Yes, when the apartment building is gone,
right.
that whole landscaping that's on this side of the apartment building is supposed to get picked up and moved south along the alley.
I think he's referencing 154 North Walnut.
No, I'm
Well-
talking about two different things here, I get it.
Yeah, right, we're talking about the First Street parking lot, not the Walnut Street demolition.
Okay,
Two different,
Okay.
and they're both on the agenda.
oh, okay,
Two different things.
all right.
Anything else on the First Street project? Okay.
Oh, that's all I got, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Boyce. Properties and Recreation, Mr. Martin.
No old or new business. We have a meeting this Wednesday at 6:30 at Root Park, which I went by this morning and walked it. It looks very nice. But 6:30 and then at 7 o'clock here. And then I've got a couple of things here that I'm going to try and, we've got cruise nights are still the first and third Tuesday of the month coming up. And then we have movies in the park. The next one is not until August 2nd.
No, we got the music on the second.
Right.
Rockin'.
Right, back into that. Rocking on the Square is on, is the Stingrays, it's July 19th. So, we've got a lot of stuff still going on. Now we've got some hot, dry weather, we can do this stuff. So, we're good. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Public Safety and Health, Mrs. Dole.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have any action items on the agenda tonight. My next public safety meeting is August 14th at 7 a.m. at the Village Hall Conference Room. Wanted to have a couple safety things. I don't know if anyone's aware of this or not, but while cell phones are an important part of almost everyone's life today, an important change took place on July 1st of this year about when a phone can be used while in a car. The new law will count first-time incidents of driving while operating a handheld mobile device as a moving violation. Under state law, moving violations appear on motorist driving record, and drivers who receive 3 moving violations in a year see their driver's license suspended. Prior to this new law, police were allowed to issue non-moving or ordinance citations. First-time moving and non-moving violations both carry a fine of $75, which increases gradually with each additional offense. Under the new law, drivers may not operate a mobile handheld device for any reason while in the car is in drive, including for GPS or music control. If your phone is in your hand, that's a violation. The law makes some exceptions. Drivers using a handheld device to contact emergency personnel, for example, would not face a fine, nor would drivers using their mobile devices while parked on the side of the road. However, stopped at a red light is not an exception. According to research from the National Highway Transportation Safety Administration, over 600,000 drivers nationwide are using their cell phones at any given moment in time. They also found that 25% of police reported collisions involve driving using their cell phone, and that texting while driving is 6 times more dangerous than impaired driving. Looking away from the road or for just 5 seconds at 55 miles per hour is the equivalent of driving distracted for the length of a football field. So get used to ignoring your phone while driving. The weather coming up this week is going to be in the upper 90s. Please regularly check on the elderly and anyone you know that doesn't have air conditioning. The police department can open the cooling center anytime someone needs it. You can just contact the PD 24/7. If there is any type of power outage while it's hot, the police department will open it as well. We also will check on anyone that we find may not have air conditioning if we feel they might be in danger, and can transport them to the cooling center if they don't have a way to get there. Lifestyle in July is tomorrow, 360 is tomorrow on Tuesday, July 16th at 9 a.m. We are meeting at Plockman's Mustard, located at 1333 North Woodrow Road, Manteno. There is limited parking, so you are encouraged to carpool if possible. You must be 18 years, and there are some dress codes too. You have to be, first of all, be 18 years of age or older for the tour. The dress code is you have to wear long pants, flat shoes, no shorts or dresses, only shoes and no shoes with heels or sandals, and no jewelry either. And you cannot have a walker or a cane. So all these are given the rules by Plockman. So, and I understand Wendell said we've already got 675 people signed up to go. So I hope they're carpooling because it is limited parking out there. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Stoll. Planning and zoning, Mr. Crockett.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two items on the agenda this evening. The first one is ordinance 19-10, an ordinance granting a variance from Title 9 zoning, Chapter 13 signs, Article 14A3, maximum area 14A3, maximum height 14A4, number of signs, and Title 9 zoning, Chapter 10, Article 4C signage in the FB-1 zoning districts for the property known as 222 South Locust Street, Manteno, Illinois. This request comes from Taylor Ford, who is looking to install an electronic two-sided sign at their location. The Plan Commission held a public hearing on the ordinance, on the variance request on July 9th. None of the neighboring property owners were present, and after some questioning of the Taylor Ford representative, the commission unanimously voted to recommend allowing the three requested variances. Second item is Resolution 19-6, a resolution waiving the requirement that the sketch development plan and preliminary development plan be presented separately in connection with the East Village Resort development. Per the ordinance, the developers of East Village Resort would like to present the sketch development plan and the preliminary development plan to the Plan Commission simultaneously, as allowed by approval of this resolution. Combining these two steps are strictly a time-saving device, as requirements for both plans remain in place and will be subject to the same review process. Any questions or comments on either one of those?
As far as the sign for Taylor Ford, that's going to be installed right away, then will they be eliminating any of the other signs or anything else that they have? This will take the place of a lot of...
Yeah, it's going to take the place of it'd be the used car sign. It's going to go in the same spot as that, and it's going to take that.
And that's an electronic programmable sign. I know there was some discussion about the possibility of being able to use that for some other community events.
They're big on that. They want to use it for any public stuff we can do and stuff like that, for the community and stuff like that.
They'll have somebody over there that would be a contact person to be able to use that.
Oh yeah, like for the Little League, anything, any kind of tournaments, anything, they're big at that, so.
Okay. And then any questions in regards to the sketch plan request? Todd, you want to talk and say anything?
No, you went over everything pretty thoroughly.
Okay.
The next Planning and Zoning Committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, July 23rd, 7 a.m. in the Village Hall Conference Room. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for August 13th, 6 p.m. here in the Village Boardroom. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Crockett. Finance, Mr. Geske.
Thank you, Mayor. First item I have is Resolution 1904, resolution approving a TIF facade renovation construction agreement in connection with TIF area number 1 for Jonathan Schultz at
41 to 49 West 2nd Street. During our last finance committee meeting, he presented some improvements he wants to do to the building next to 2nd Street Plaza, and that's where we road is, so I believe that everyone was in favor of that, but that is one item that we have this evening. Any questions in regards to that?
Yeah, everybody was at the finance committee meeting when he presented what he wanted to do, and any improvements that he can make to enhance the 2nd Street area that we've got going, I think is a positive step also.
Next item I have is Resolution 1905, a resolution approving an agreement with MC Square Energy Services and Illinois Limited Liability Company. And Chris, do you want to comment on this at all?
Yeah, this is the aggregation program we've been involved with the last 4 or 5 years. It's the same broker, NYMEC Corporation, as well as the same energy supplier. The market has gotten a lot less or a lot more competitive. Obviously, ComEd has kind of brought their rates down to be able to compete with these aggregation companies. So they're not really to offer any savings, but they'll match ComEd's rate, so it won't cost residents anything. They like to continue this just in case the market changes. If we let it expire, we would have to start back over again with the aggregation process. So this is a way to continue it, see what the market's going to do in the next year or two, see if it's worthwhile continuing this program.
But the rate that the customers will be charged will be exactly the same rate as they would whether they're with this company or with ComEd, so there's no savings, there's no expense.
Correct.
And the customers don't have to do anything, it's all done automatically. If somebody has the, sees the need to opt out, they can always do that. They won't save anything, but they won't lose anything either.
Right, and they'll send out letters like they've done every year, offering you the ability to opt out, or if you're out, they'll give you a letter asking if you want to opt into the program, so. And that renews in October, so this is something that will happen over the next couple of months.
Right. So if people get letters, which they will get letters in the mail from this company, they really don't have to respond or do anything at all, and they'll be guaranteed the same rate whether they're with this company or whether they're with ComEd.
Correct.
Next item I have is a motion to award the bid for demolition of 154 North Walnut Street to EC of Kankakee County for a price not to exceed $21,900. This is for the apartment building that is just to the south of 2nd Street, and this bid does not include the removal or movement of the landscaping, correct? That was
Correct, yeah, this is just the demolition and getting rid of all the materials.
So after it's demolished, then we can go out for bid for the okay. Last thing I have is payment of bills amount of $194,380.22, which includes TIF bills in the amount of $20,174.29. There were no bills paid between the board cycle, and our next finance committee meeting is scheduled for August 14th at 7 a.m. That's all.
Okay, Mr. Geske, General Government, Mr. Phillips, do you have anything on the agenda tonight?
No, I have nothing, Mayor, thank you.
So tonight on the consent agenda, the items that we'll be voting on are as follows. Under old business, nothing. Under new business, we have ordinance 1910, an ordinance granting variance from Title IX zoning, Chapter 13 signs, Article 14A3 maximum area, 14A3 maximum height, 14A4 number of signs, and Title IX zoning, Chapter 10, Article C4 signage in the FB1 zoning district for the property known as 222 South Locust Street, Manteno, Illinois. Item number 2 is Resolution 1904, a resolution approving a tax increment facade renovation construction agreement in connection with the tax increment financing area number 1 with Jonathan Schultz for 41 through 49 West 2nd Street. Item number 3 is Resolution 1905, a resolution approving an agreement with MC Squared Energy Services and Illinois Limited Liability Company. Item number 4 is Resolution 1906, a resolution waiving the requirement that the sketch development plan and the preliminary development plan be presented separately in connection with the East Village Resort development. Also, we have a consideration motion to award the bid for the demolition of 154 North Walnut Street to EC of Kankakee County for a price not to exceed $21,900. We have finally a motion to award a bid for the First Street parking lot improvements to Tenco Excavating of Bourbonnais, Illinois, for a cost of $278,063.25. And the payment of the bills in the amount of $184,350.22, of which $20,174.29 are TIF 1. Are there any items on the consent agenda that need to be voted on individually?
Ordinance 1019, or it's 1910.
1910, okay.
Not that I have to, but.
Okay. Anything else? So the items that we'll be voting on in the consent agenda are all the items except ordinance 1910. I'd accept a motion to take a single roll call vote on the question of passage of the agenda items as read, with the exception of ordinance 1910. Motion by Martin, second by Phillips, roll call.
Martin?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Boyce?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Geske?
Motion carries. I accept the motion to approve by unanimous vote the ordinances, resolutions, motions, and orders contained in the consent agenda with the exception of ordinance 1910. Motion by Boyce, second by Geske, roll call.
Boyce?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. I need a motion to approve ordinance 1910. Motion by Martin,
I'll second that.
second by Dole, roll call.
Martin?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Boyce?
Abstain.
Crockett?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Comments, do you have anything for that, Mr. Morris?
Great job with the public works team, we get everything cleaned up, I know it's a lot of hard work. And what also is nice is that you have that relationship with the other villages to borrow things and have you run things out and stuff like that. And that says a lot about you, so it's good to have. Thank you, that's all I got.
Mr. Martin?
On top of that is, people don't understand, if you have a big storm like that, the rest of the work doesn't stop. You still have to mow, you still have to water, you still have to have empty garbage cans, and you've got 70% of your crew picking up branches, so kudos to you, big time. So,
Yeah, you're right. I mean, they can take a day or whatever to, put everybody all hands on deck, but eventually the grass is still gotta get cut and, the events are still being planned and taking place. It's not like they had that week penciled off for picking up branches. So it makes a big difference. And overall, the community has been very patient too. Everybody wants to get theirs picked up. But as long as they know they're on the list and as long as they see the activity out there and progress is being made, the community is more than patient for getting the stuff done. And I think the work got done in a timely fashion. So it's good. Mrs. Dole?
Can I add something? Also, I just want to add, every morning I see your crew over at the school putting together those swing sets and equipment, supporting the school. Honest to God, I almost wanted to stop at Dairy Queen and get them something at lunch because they're out there in that hot sun and that is a job. They've been working on that for a while.
Well, as long as you bring it up, you want to comment about how we got that job?
Don't do that.
Well, we talked about that earlier, and that's not one swing set that's getting put together. That's a whole. It's a whole set of things over there in the middle of the summer when we've got a lot of stuff going on anyway. So I'm glad you brought that up. You want to comment about how we got into that job?
Yeah, we're working with the school. I've had several crews, a couple of my guys have put up sets in the last 5 years. We've done, I think, 5 or 6 of them. So we got a little bit of a knack for doing it. After you do a few, you kind of learn a few skills. And the school actually is kind of semi-hiring the village to pay for those guys to put those up. And yeah, we've had it for about 2 weeks solid, and we're ready for concrete on Wednesday. So yeah, we were definitely put off for the last 2 weeks with the storm cleanup. But it's a savings to the school, and it was a big savings to the village here with our guys learning how to do it. So we're kind of intergovernmental agreement, a little bit of help. So.
Well, yeah, and the school is paying the village for for doing it, but because we have done it in every park in the community, we've had new equipment put up over the last several years. So our guys have got some background in knowing all that stuff puts together, and all it just doesn't jump out of the box and stand it up. But and the guys know what they're doing, and the school recognized that. and wanted to hire, the village, so they're paying. But they also are allowing us to do it in the time frame that we have available. Obviously, it got delayed a couple weeks because of the storm, and I think the school understood what that was all about. So another, I think, example of the intergovernmental cooperation that we have with all the different taxing bodies.
And they've had a few guys out there too, so they're picking up a couple moves and learning how it all goes together. So maybe if they get another set in the future, or if they gotta replace a piece of equipment, they'll have a little bit of an understanding on how it works.
Oh, Mr. Mayor, real quick, back to me. It sounds like the entire town is on board with the lightning detection program. Because I was at a couple of pool parties the last weekend, and they all knew. Right now, 6 o'clock on Sunday afternoon when that lightning thing went off.
Siren.
The siren? Oh, so I think that's another intergovernmental thing that is, I think that's gonna benefit the community big time.
Yeah. Mrs. Dole.
Besides cruise night, tomorrow night is that full moon jam here on 2nd Street too, where they block that off at 7 a.m., or 7 p.m., excuse me. So you can go to the cruise starting at 6 and then come and watch the fire show, I guess, at 7 p.m., so.
Yeah, I was there at the last one, and they put on quite a presentation. Mr. Crockett?
No comments, Mayor.
Yes?
I have nothing.
Mr. Phillips?
Jimmy will get it done with his people.
Just one other comment, we are having a short dedication ceremony on Saturday night at 6:15. The fireplace that we constructed in the square on Second, part of the funds for that fireplace came from a generous donation from Homestar Bank about a year ago. And so we are going to have just a very short, few-minute dedication for that fireplace at 6:15 on Saturday evening. The pillow will be shut down for a half hour or so while that's taking place. So if anyone is in the area, you're more than welcome to attend. With that, I would accept a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that.
Motion by Boyce,
Second. I'll second.
second by Dole, roll call.
Boyce?
Yes.
Dole?
Yes.
Martin?
Yes.
Crockett?
Yes.
Geske?
Yes.
Phillips?
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, everybody, for coming, everyone.